2025 is off to a crazy start. New leadership's in office. TikTok shut down. TikTok came back. Plane crashes, mass deportations, people doing crazy things in public spaces. All this stuff is happening around us and it's making it hard for us to focus on our goals. At the beginning of the year, I had this video where I talked about the power of naming your year and doing goals around that name. Well, with everything going on, I could see how it could be very easy to lose track of goals and not even execute what you actually want to do. So this video is here to help you figure that out. At least from my perspective, I'll say that. And I have 3 concepts, and I'll chapter them down below, that will help you hopefully cling on to your goals and become a better person despite everything going on. But for a second, can we just take a moment and breathe? My first concept is introspection. You have to be able to look within yourself and ask yourself this one question in particular: why am I here? And when I say why am I here, I'm not talking physical manifestation. Why am I right here in this studio? Why are you right there in your bedroom? Why are you right there in the kitchen? No, why am I here is a mindset question. I use an example of someone that wants to do a podcast. Like, that's your goal. You want to start a podcast. You ask yourself, why am I here? I wanted to start the podcast in January. It's now February. Why am I here? Mindset wise, what steps have I not taken to get to my goal? But the thing is, with this why am I here question, you have to ask yourself multiple times, at least 3. And we'll do this practice. You can do this practice either in your notes or down in the comments section below. I want you to ask, my goal was to blank. I didn't do it. Why am I here? And then at least list off 3 times. So you're going to answer that question 3 times. Why am I here? Why am I here the first time? I don't have the equipment. Why am I here? I wanted to start the podcast. Why am I here now? I don't have the time. I want to start the podcast. Why am I here now? I don't know what I'm going to do for 50 episodes straight on a podcast. Now, with all that digging in, you finally found your why. There's a book I read a long time ago called 12 Habits of a Highly Effective Leader. And one of the points was, people don't buy into what you do, they buy into why you do it. And I would like to add on to that point. You can only go so far if you have a why. If you don't have a why, all the little minor inconveniences will become big inconveniences. So you have to figure out your why. So once you found your why, you understand why you want to do something. You have to get out and leave. You have to go explore. I saw this TikTok and I'll play it for you right now. Shout out to the creator, which I don't know off the top of my head. But this is a concept. It can also work for what she's actually saying, but I also see this as a concept, and we'll talk about it when I come back.
They might think that you're weird today, but tomorrow they're gonna think that you're so interesting. I deleted my Instagram 2 years ago. I don't go to clubs, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I know a lot about aged rums though. I'm an art collector, I'm a member of a fine arts club, I'm on the junior board for an art museum. I can golf, I take figure skating lessons, I do oil pastels and paint to unwind from my day. I just learned how to fish and I'm hoping to be a better shot by the springtime. I am an interesting person and people delight in me. People are so fascinated by me as a result of that. Take a step back from your friend group. Take a step back from the herd of what everybody does on the weekends and figure out what you like to do. Figure out what your true interests are and find hobbies that align with them.
Being antisocial is only cool until you can't relate. You have to get yourself out there. You have to go leave and see. I'm gonna give you another story, because I'm a very visual learner. So visual concepts to me help me out a lot. I have a friend that I grew up with, and we both live in the Midwest. Only difference between me and him, I travel, he does not. There was one day we were hanging out in the evening, and we were looking out at the sunset, and he said, man, The Midwest has some of the most beautiful sunsets. And I just kind of looked at him confused because I travel, but then it really hit me. He's never seen a sunset at the beach. He's never seen a sunset from the jungle. The furthest he's went from where we live is Colorado. So luckily he's seen the sunset in the mountains, but he hasn't seen it in these other biomes. He hasn't seen it in the desert. He hasn't seen it in the middle of the ocean. So what does all that have to do with anything about keeping your goals? Make sure you can go out and see different sunsets. Make sure you can go out and see different forms of what you might want as a goal. You've seen the sunset of a podcast. You've seen what successful podcasting looks like. But have you seen the sunset of a stand-up comedian? Have you seen the sunset of a newscaster? Have you seen a sunset of a public speaker? You get what I'm saying? Because when you get out there, you see these different styles of things and different ways in which they do a similar goal. Maybe you realize the goal that you have is not actually the goal that you want to have. Maybe the goal is something completely different, because it's okay to change your goals. Maybe it's a part of my last concept, which is a fat goal. Some goals are just fat. They're not necessarily what you need compared to what you really want to achieve. Which leads me to my last point, which is to cut the fat. I just said fat goals. There's goals that you don't necessarily need, but you cling on to for some odd reason. And I want to introduce this concept of cutting fat, because there's either cutting goals or reducing them. But at the same time, the fat could be you genuinely distracting yourself from goals. Now, I'm a believer. I believe in God. I go to church. That's kind of what I do for my full-time job too. I do content for a church. And one thing we do is fasting and consecrating. Fasting and consecrating is just giving up time to get back with God. For those people that don't believe in God, this concept will still help you, trust me. I was going on consecration at the beginning of the year, and I consecrated social media. So for 30 days straight, I was not on social media at all. It was rough, but it made me realize how much consumption I actually put into social media. And it made me also realize that I am a pretty creative person. Without social media, I like to use it for inspiration, but I also can do a lot of things without it. But it also freed up so much time for me to actually get a plan for this YouTube channel and actually start to take it a lot more serious. And boy, has it, because now I'm getting videos that are getting in the thousands of views, and I'm like, bro, I have no idea how this even happened. So first of all, thank you for that. And subscribe if you haven't, please. But yeah, it was the time I cut the excess, the fat, and it made me realize a lot of the stuff that I was doing was just a whole bunch of extra things I didn't necessarily need to be doing compared to the goals that I wanted to achieve. So then when that fast was said and done, I got back on social media, of course, but now I'm drastically reducing my time. If I wanted to truly take this seriously, I got to drastically reduce my social media consumption. I play video games. I got to reduce that just so I can focus and hone in on doing this. So yes, the fat can be distractions, but it can also be goals that aren't necessarily the best for you to achieve right now, or best for you to achieve in general. And the best way you can actually sift through those type of goals is by first being introspective. Callback. Finding out your why behind the goal, then leaving and going to see another callback, making sure that this is the goal you actually want to do, or if you would like to go in a different direction, and then see if it does not go through both those, cut it off or reduce it. Focus on bigger and better things. I hope this video helped you. I hope it made sense. Let me know in the comments below if you haven't done anything in the comments yet. But speaking of comments, I would like to address one of the comments from my brunch baddie wall videos. If you haven't, go check those out. They're like random deep dives of the internet that I like to do. AtKWavy187 asked, Do you have an inbox for subs to forward topics, questions, and ideas? I'm no one's activist, but I love these topics. And I would just like to answer, yes. Yes, I do. I mean, I already did answer Kid Wavy. Thank you to you, by the way. Thanks for subscribing. But yes, I do. If you actually go to the description on my YouTube, there's a link right there for my link tree. From there, you can get to my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter, and even a Discord server. Really, however, I have all methods of reaching out. So please reach out there if you have any topics you want me to cover or things of that nature. Thank you for joining me on this video. Remember, take a breath. It's gonna be all right. Let's focus back on those goals. Everything around us does not have to affect us.